But right now I want to talk to the men, and that's part of my purpose here, to help round out the yin and the yang of everything that you'll hear. So for the men, I want to point out how you had an extra hurdle that may not be visible for everyone, and yet it's very real. So, ladies, you've been born almost into thinking about your relationships, dreaming about your marriage someday, talking about your feelings and empathizing with your friends, right? Well, us men didn't start off that way. And what's more is I would say that I just want to have you imagine a phone call real quick. All right, so imagine this happening with me and someone in the audience. I'll call him Tom. Hey, Tom, what are you doing today? Hey, I thought I'd come over and I want to talk to you about your relationship for a couple of hours. Tell me about what's going on. Catch me up. What do you think? You know, I've got about 3 hours, man. We can hang out. You can just tell me what's been going on. What are your feelings? Tell me about the latest developments. Tom, on the other end of that call, suddenly realized he has something else to do. See, as men, we've been conditioned from an early age that when it comes to relationship, that's not our topic. It's a feminine topic. Now, don't get me wrong. We want to be in a relationship when we get older, when we realize it, but we didn't start off that way. I'm just going to be very frank and honest. Everything that Stacy and I do here is going to be very frank and honest with you. We're not wired for it. It's not natural. And there's varying degrees of what's natural for one person versus another. It's not a one-size-fits-all. But I do have to point out the fact that the men in this room, can we please give them a hand because they're here? They had to overcome the hurdle, because it's not natural for them. So what happens is, you know, we get older and we fall in love, and for the first time, we're like, wow, I need this relationship thing, because that wasn't what my focus was before. You know, when we were younger, we had one very clear focus, and relationship was not it, and I don't have to say what that one thing was. And it's just the way we were designed as a species, because our job is to procreate the species. We all have our own role here, but how we show up is very different. And we're going to get into this about how different we are very much so over the next few days. But I really want to point out for the men in this room and for the ladies that, you know, your man overcame something to be here right now. And men, I honor you, and I really appreciate you being here. So when I say I'm proud to be here with you, ladies and men, I'm really proud to be here with you because you did it. You overcame the obstacles. And men, you overcame that obstacle. Because we don't talk about our feelings. We're not focused on relationship until we need it. And then the problem is, we look around and there are no solutions for us, in the sense that as men, we only want one thing when we have a problem, and we want the resolution. We want the solution. We just want to fix it, and we want it fixed in like 10 minutes, because anything else is inefficient. And that's just the way we're wired. We're not here to talk about our feelings. We're not interested in a path of resolving our relationship through talking about our feelings. We're not wired for that. And yet, if you look around, the entire relationship fixing industry has been wrapped in a feminine wrapper. So as men, what happens is, you know, we get into relationships and we find ourselves frustrated because we have the best of intentions. Our intentions are we really want to make things right. We really love you and we're just trying to serve. And then we find out what happens is we get into this dynamic that we can't figure out, which is we try these things over and over and over, and it keeps landing flat. What's worse is it seems to be even more negative. It comes back in a negative form, and we're just trying to serve and do our best. And we don't know why. And we're befuddled. And it's wildly frustrating. So if we look for answers, which is what we're wired to do, because we want to fix it, we find only feminine wrapper solutions. So we find solutions about talking about your feelings with your partner, maybe for hours. You know, these are not things that are going to gravitate a man to that solution. Because we're not interested in that. We're not going to go there. So I'm going to honor you men, because I feel like the majority of you who don't know much about what we do or what I do in relationship development had that stereotype to overcome. And that is not what we do. What Stacy and I do is very different. So I want to congratulate you for overcoming that barrier, showing up here, overcoming all the stereotypes that would have pushed us away, and just recognize you're not alone. It's very real. And I certainly appreciate you being here for that.